And welcome everyone to Mystics Outlook. We got Cardell Dudley Jr. here, Wilson Tarpe Jr. And Cardell, you listed some things when we were talking earlier in pregame, and those things, those boxes kind of went unchecked. And credit to Connecticut, the defense was amazing all night long. It seemed like from the beginning of the game, it was clear that they were trying to shut off the water in terms of Washington scoring inside the paint. You talked about the turnovers, and man, that's an area in which things went left um, for most of this game. But Connecticut wins this game 68-57. They get their fourth win of the season, and Washington falls under 500. They go from 8-8 before the game started down to 8-9 before they come home on Sunday. But your thoughts on this one and where things went wrong?
Like I said, pregame, this game was going to be won in the paint, in the trenches, physicality. I felt like they lost that down the stretch against the Lynx. The Sun had been riding high, coming in, playing well in that area, in that regard. And I felt like it was going to be a physical battle. And whoever won the battle in the paint was going to win this game. And Connecticut, they won it. It hasn't been often this season that the Washington Mystics have been outscored points in the paint, but Connecticut got them 40-21. 40-24 in the paint today. I can't think of the last time that happened. And when you combine that with Washington's 22 turnovers and Connecticut scoring 22 points off those 22 turnovers, that's ball game. Excuse me. It was just I want to give the Connecticut Sun credit. It's not just how they punished them in the paint, how they got at them defensively and turned them over, and use that length and versatility and size to just make life hell for the Mystics. Just overall execution defensively, man, was beautiful to watch, man. I can't even front. Like they really kind of, you could tell that they kind of just gonna hang their hat on that side of the floor and let that try to win games and just make that their identity. They're just gonna be a tough, physical, defensive oriented team, and they're gonna wear you down. And that's what you saw with the Mystics tonight. She probably the worst game. Sonya, who's been on fire, 2 of 10. They really clamped down on her. Georgia Moore, to her credit, had a good game. She finished with a team high of 14 points, 5 assists. She got to get those turnovers under control. But, they can, and their front court, it didn't get much from Shakira outside of rebounds. She was 2 for 7. Only where, second game where she was subpar. And Kiki fouled out. You know what I'm saying? Had 11 of 14, 5 of 11, but she fouled out, going up for the rebound and, incidental contact. But, they're in Connecticut, so they called it on her. I felt like Olivia Nelson-Ododa, I felt like she was that's why I spoke about her in the pregame. I felt like she was going to be a difference maker, and she was. 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. 6 of 12 from the field. Just the ultimate utility. Big, man. The ultimate utility big, man. Just understands her role, but she can impact the game in many ways in her role. And those type of players are hard to come by. And I don't think people understand how big she is. She's a legit 6'5". Then you got Grinder down there that's 6'7", 6'8". That's a lot of size and a lot of length. And Diamond Miller, 6'3". Look, she only had 4 points but finished plus 10. Because that means her defense, she was swarming, like the whole team. LaCann, we spoke about her. 12 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, only 2 turnovers. Controlled the game. Charlie's Legger Walker, same thing, 10 points, 5 assists. They fed off their defense, man. They played within themselves, and that's why they were able to pull out the win. Kennedy Burke was huge off the bench. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 28 minutes. Mystics got to figure out something because they just it looked like they was figuring things out off their 3-game winning streak, and now it's like right back to what we saw prior to that. This is disheartening because That's why I said don't look at the records in the pregame. You gotta look at how they're playing. But regardless, you come in 500, you're not supposed to lose to a 3-win team. You know what I mean? Even though they were playing better, you should still figure out a way to try to get things right. Even the fast break points. I know you spoke about it, LeCan, like getting up and down and all that. They outscored the Mystics 13-0 fast break points, where all the athletes that the Mystics have. They just look flat from the beginning, man. And, I mean, you kind of see in the first quarter it was going to be a defensive battle with the score being 14-12. And from then on, the Connecticut Suns just beat them in every quarter. They beat them in every quarter. Especially, like your second quarter, you held to 12 points. In the fourth quarter, you held to 10 points. You only had efficient offense in one quarter. And that's the third where you scored 21. And you was outscored in that 22. So they didn't play well. The Mystics didn't play well in any phase of the game, man. And that's why they deserve to lose, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And you brought up Ono or Olivia Nelson, a Dodo, and she's one of the weird, we talk about the type of athlete Shakira is. Olivia is one of the weird type matchups where, sometimes the sports people just match up really well with you. She has similar athleticism. Obviously, she doesn't come to the table with some of the same things Shakira comes to the table with offensively. But I thought in the first quarter, her activity kind of like set the tone, and like none of that stuff inside is happening today. Whatever you get, you have to fight for. And then you couple that with it's tough inside. And then Washington marched to the line like 14 times and missed 11 free throws. So you throw that on top of that where you're not getting paint points, then you're drawing fouls. You get to the line, you do not capitalize. And then we get to the turnovers. 22 turnovers, 22 points. You said in pregame, this is known with Connecticut how they play. They have to create chaos defensively to generate offense. That's just who they are. So if you give them like a lifeline, that's everything they need. And Washington continued to give them life. Like you talked about the third quarter, I think Washington took care of the ball pretty well in the third. And then you make the run, you cut the gap. And how did the lead grow again in the fourth? Series of it was like 3 straight possessions with just silly passes. And Connecticut's next thing you know, you're down 8. You were within 1. Next thing you know, you're down 8. It's because of turnovers. And again, this is something you said going into the game. You can't fuel their offense. They struggle in the half court. And they made Connecticut made life miserable for Washington in the half court, but you went to the line 25 times. Last time you played this team, you got to the line a lot. You shot like 97% against them last time. And that kind of overcame some of the turnovers. Like I said, with some of the things we've been talking about, the turnovers as an issue all year long. But some of those games, you get to the line a lot, which they have. They make the free throws. That kind of outweighs some of it. Tonight, you had both of those things working against you and throw in the fact that you couldn't score in the paint at the rate that you normally do. Like I said, just credit to Connecticut on this one. It's tough. 57 points.
And it's ironic that they miss 11 free throws and lose by 11. We've been saying they got to look. We at that point. Where we at? Late June. They are who they are. We at that stage in the season. This is who they are. They're gonna be a turnover team. The outliers is like Kiki and Sonya being inefficient and all that. Scouting reports have been caught up. Let's call it what it is, man. So the ladies have to adjust. I can't have faith that they're not gonna turn the ball over because they've been doing it all year. How you have 16 assists, but and then have 22 turnovers? That pretty much erases all your assists. 56% from the free throw line, 56% from the free throw line, 27% from deep, 34% from the field goal. And like I highlighted in the pregame, the Mystics got 55 field goal attempts, but the Sun got 68. And that's why I say they're second in 2-point attempts, field goal attempts, man. They kill you on offense. And then the thing is, the Mystics want to battle on the boards. They just couldn't score. So it was just straight defense and physicality just wearing them out, man. Like they out-rebound offensive rebounds, 12-5. Punish them on the boards, 45-27. Could make shots. And, man, a lot of that had to do with the Suns' defense. And then forcing those turnovers, swarming them, the length. The Mystics just look flat, man. This wasn't a this. Look, if you're gonna lose, I mean, no one wants to lose, but if you're gonna lose, you rather lose like putting up a fight. It was too many instances and too many stretches in the game where it looked like the Mystics didn't want to be there. It looked like they look flat. They look low on energy. They look like they'd rather be somewhere else.
Yeah, it was just a rough one all the way around. Credit to the Sun. They came out, they set the tone, and that game was played on their terms from opening tip until the game ended. I'm gonna put this up here, player of the game.
I mean, sure, you gotta give it to Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She impacted the game like 1, 2, 3, 2 steals, 2 defense, 4, pretty much every facet of the game. While shooting 50%, gotta give it to her. Got to.
Yeah, and again, she was one of the ones, the first people I thought about in terms of setting that tone, especially defensively, just blocking turning away a couple shots early. Even I think it says only like 3 blocks, but obviously you have that type of impact. Think about how many shots she deterred or altered that she didn't get her hands on, but the activity was apparent the entire game. Xfactor for you in this one.
Leila LeCain, 12 points, 5 assists. 4 steals, only 2 turnovers. She was a hell of an X-Factor on both ends.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I thought her and Legend Walker did a great job getting their hands, having their hands just be active on the defensive end of the floor. I think they combined for like 7 steals in this one, just the 2 of them. And Connecticut averages 8.1 steals a game. Those 2 almost got the team's average just between the 2 of them. But yeah, I'm right with you with Xfactor. We'll get to some of these comments. We get out of here. Area 11T and the Mystics, we know are back. Man. Wow. Had that to say.
Hey, man, when you get punished like they did in the paint, and the team just takes it to you physically, that's what people going to say.
22 returned to Earth today.
I mean, she an all-star. She just played terrible. I ain't going to say she returned to Earth. She's all-star as a rookie. The run she been on, you expect her to take that lead. Tonight was just a bad night at the office, man. There's no other way of putting it.
All right, someone check what they're running right now after all the missed free throws and turnovers.
Yeah, it would have been a rough practice. That's why, college back in the day, that's when you had what I call them life-threatening practices. You just dreading the next part because you know it's gonna be real. It's gonna be nasty.
Man, happy Georgia got going because it was looking like she was reverting to that gunshot version in that first half.
Man, it got to a point where it was like we can't play no worse. I might as well start throwing this thing up. Hope something forward, and some failed. But her main issue is defense and turnovers, man. She got to improve in those areas.
Also, can we talk about January because it feels like this role isn't fitting for her game, honestly, with this lineup.
So you saying when Kiki was out, she flourished, and then Kiki came back, she kind of. But it's no excuse. If one, she was 1 for 5, didn't rebound. I don't know if she banged up, 4 turnovers. That ain't a lineup thing. That's just a her thing.
Yeah, I just thought it just wasn't a good night. I know she got banged up a little bit later in the game. It knocked her hip or whatever. I just what's it called? Teams. What'd you say with the scout report? Where how many games in now? This was like game 17. Yeah, teams, and she's had games. How many times we got on here talking about, it's been 3 games where she's had 16, 17, what have you. Teams aren't going to just sit here and watch it happen where she's literally giving, when she's had it going, she's providing a really great balance to Washington's attack inside. So, yeah, you're not going to – what team in their right minds will be like, all right, you keep it going so we can't jump, the people inside. Like, nah, teams are going to adjust. The Sun showed the blueprint on how to beat us, clog the paint, how Sony and cause turnovers.
And that's been the blueprint when they lost all season. That ain't nothing new. They've been turning the ball over. They've been clogging the paint because they haven't shot the ball well from the perimeter pretty much all season. So that ain't nothing new. They really got to clean a lot of stuff up, man. Because they too talented to be turning the ball over 22 times and not being able to score this efficiently, man, all season for the most part.
Nah, I'm right with you. They really have to tighten up the execution. Like even, we're watching at home and clearly you're trying to get the ball to Sonya. If the team's denying it, like, hey man, at some point accept that and adjust.
Yeah.
And instead, like time's just coming off the clock. Like they're not gonna stop denying her the ball. Like clearly y'all trying to get her the ball. They're not gonna be like, okay, you guys keep trying. We're gonna give her some room. Like, hell nah. Like I get it. You're trying to run the play, but still be a basketball player. It's not there right now. Adjust. So again, it's something they just got to do better with. Feels like the only pro tonight was Georgia providing another potential outside threat.
I'm not gonna say that, man. Like, I mean, it's a bad day at the office. They all pros. I'm not gonna disrespect the ladies like that. It's just a bad day at the office, man. It is what it is. The Rooks, Cody didn't really give much. Lauren was 2 for 5, 5 for 6, but she couldn't. They the physicality, man. You just seen it all throughout the game. They couldn't deal with it for whatever reason. They were just flat. Energy was not there, and somebody got to wake up and like when that happens. You know what I say? Was you gotta have some uncomfortable conversations sometimes. Sometimes it gotta be in front of everybody to spark people to get them to want to bring the necessary energy that's required to compete and to win this game. And no one did that. You can't always be nice, man. Sometimes it's just like, yo, you lead by example. Then if people don't follow, you challenge them. Because no one likes to be embarrassed and called out in the public, dog. So you can go one or two ways. Either they're gonna shrink or they're gonna elevate. And if they shrink, you can't go to war with them. It's as simple as that. These are pros. They should be able to elevate. But you can't. This is more disheartening because it's a physicality, it's an energy thing. It's one thing to be out executed, but if you got to worry about energy and bringing the fight, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Like you said, they came out flat and void of energy. And yeah, man, it happened. It's the one thing about Sony sometimes that is bad is how long it takes her to get open without a screening action. She led the WNBA in three-point shooting last year. She's not about to be open. And so other people do stuff to loosen up the defense. They're not about to let, what did she shoot last year from like 45? You're not about to let that walk around the three-point line.
And other people could get and make shots from perimeter, man. Other players on the team, you got to make shots from the perimeter. It's as simple as that. They're clogging the lane. They're making life tough. They're putting big lineups out there that can move with length, and it's tough. So you got to be able to open that up, and it's tough. And you can't even say, like, Georgia was hitting tonight. She was 4 for 9. The problem is Sonya couldn't get going. Michaela didn't get going. Dugalich didn't get going. Look, like no one got going from the perimeter. So if it ain't broke, no fix it. We just gonna keep going. We want you to just stay in the paint, and you with us. We ain't even gonna run out there like that. And then we're gonna jump to passing lanes for steals, and it just have you second guessing your execution on offense.
And that's what we saw, especially late. That's literally what we saw. Connecticut rejected the things they wanted, and you waited a little bit, and a whole bunch of indecision and some passes, and Connecticut's out of there. They were just gone. Like even how the game ended, I think they turned it over to end the game. Like the game was already over, but still, like you said, bad outing tonight. You come back home on Sunday, and we'll see how they respond. But credit to Connecticut for sure. And I think one of the things was just with Kiki, she got to find a way a little bit to just stay out of foul trouble. Can't afford her just off the court like that. She's just too important, especially in games like this where as physical as it was. She was 5 of 11 from the floor and had 14 rebounds. Like the times when she was off the floor because of foul trouble hurt. And that's not excusing everybody else. Just
Shakira,
former All-Star. Go ahead.
Shakira can't handle the rock like that no more on the perimeter, dog. It's been all season. 7 turnovers, like that's a killer, man. That's a killer. And you gotta get her the ball in spots where she could just make one move and go. Like I see what they trying to do. They trying to use it kind of as a hub on the perimeter because she's athletic, but she don't handle the ball well enough, and then she don't see the floor well enough, and she gets ripped. Like especially when a defender sits on the first move and she tries to counter with a spin and go back the other way to get by them. Defense are on it. They've been on that all season. They're already digging down, and the guys rotating over to try to get to that get the turnover, man. So you know what I mean? So they gotta it's been all season. This one today was just even worse because 7 turnovers. No player should have 7 turnovers by themselves. No, nah, bro. Matter of fact, coaches I played for, you wouldn't even got the 7 turnovers. Or you tripping. 3, 4, come sit down. You bugging. Yeah, we'll try you out next time. You are bugging, or you just can't handle the rock. If you're not shooting past that thing, or you gonna come sit with me. But 7 turnovers she had more turnovers than she did points.
And like you said, they've been sitting on that spin back all season long. All teams have. Even tonight, the couple times she went, there was a Connecticut guard sitting before the spin started. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as that first move was cut off, they were literally there. The last comments we get out of Carlos Roberts said, we're in game 17. I'm not trying to hear about us being young. We're not the only young team. You have to be pros and be ready to play every night.
You're absolutely right. You said what we said, man. Like, you're right, man. You're right, man. It's no getting around that, especially coming off that close loss to Minnesota. You should be eager to try to get right the ship, get back on track. You know what I mean? It's just disheartening, the lack of energy and the lack of fight they showed tonight at times.
All right, my bad. Last comment before the buzzer. Yeah, that's kind of been my concern with our offense for real. With how often we put the ball in our big hands, the decision making doesn't feel good enough to touch it that far out the paint like that.
They can't handle the rock good enough. You got to handle the rock. You know, a lot of people think they handle the rock in open space and stuff. They can do it, but the real test is when you're getting bumped and it's traffic. Can you get out of that? Can you create space? Can you make the right read? Can you be strong with the ball? Shakira is not, she ain't got the handle for that right now. You can say you're developing it, but it ain't there. Like 7 turnovers, man, that's tough. It's hard to overcome that. Then you had 2 other players that had 4 turnovers. That's 15 turnovers between 3 players. That's just hard to win. It's hard to win. I don't care who you playing, especially the highest level of the game. You can't keep giving good players and pro players opportunities to score and beat you, because they're gonna beat you. They're gonna beat you, man. It's as simple as that. That's why they got 13 more shots.
Exactly. And like you said, the being able to handle and navigate in tight spots and make it reads, that's the part that's not there right now. Hey, man, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, move it. And if that's something that grows, that's cool. But no, not right now. Like you can't afford. These are the type of things that you can avoid, and it just happens too often, man. Like we've been 17 games in, here damn near after every game talking about that turnover count, because it's been something that's like outside of one game this season. It's been a talking point all year. So it's something that has to change.
They're dead last
even in the wins.
They're dead last in the WNBA in turnovers. They're just 15.8, just under 16 turnovers a game. That's insane. That's insane, man. And then they don't generate enough turnovers on their own. Like they 15th in steals, 6. So they don't even make up for it. And 13th in 3-point percentage. They they're shooting 29% from deep. And 13th in free throw percentage, 74, and that's going to drop after today. But they're first in free throw attempts and free throw makes a game because of their bigs. They get to the line the most, they make the most free throws, but they still 13th in efficiency. It's wild. It's just.
And that's what makes the thing where, again, like this effort is all the issues what have you. Like the turnovers are the most damning thing because with everything going on, you can't keep spotting folks' possessions. You just can't. Like Cardell just named the reasons as to why, because you can't offset it somewhere else right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing you can control is that. Like right now, you don't shoot the ball well enough. All right. Which means you can't give it away. Like you just can't at that rate. Like you cannot afford it. You just can't.
So just be stronger with the ball, man. Even if you turn back and you don't have something, just grab the ball, kick it back out. You gotta save the possession. You see what I'm saying? It's similar to, like, I'm thinking about football. The quarterback throwing it to you. You know it's a chance that the DB can intercept this. You know it's gonna be tough for you to get the catch. F it, knock it to the ground, save the possession. Just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna knock it to the ground. Neither one of us gonna get it. But you saving the position on the field, and you saving the down, man. It's not a turnover where they can possibly just take over and score easily, depending on where you are on the field. It's the same thing in basketball. You got to save the possession sometimes. Fine, you can dance and try to get it to move, but then they swarm you. But what you can't be is just loose with the ball and they just knock it loose, and then you all on the ground. That's when you got to be strong, out of trouble. And at the very least, call a timeout to save the possession. If you can't kick it back out, they swarm, timeout. You got to be aware of that, man. They too weak with the ball too much. And it's been going on all season.
Yeah, and couple that with, I think about most of my least favorite turnovers that happen are the frustration turnovers. All right, cool. You got stuck. Make a good pass out of it. Like, there's no reason for it. It's too many times where they just compound. It's already a bad possession, so let's compound matters. You just can't afford it. Like, it's not there. Swing it, like you said, dribble it back out, cool, what have you. And for the most part with them, they don't, like, for whatever reason, it feels like they never have dead ball turnovers. Everything's live.
Live ball. Off to the races.
And, like, literally in the game tonight where one team scored in the 60s, the other team scored in the 50s, 22 points in terms of points being scored off turnovers. Huge. Like, you can't overcome that. Like Cardell mentioned earlier, like, they won on the glass, and it mattered not because you gave the ball over that much. And also the free throws. Yeah, it was a tough one today for sure. I know they're back home on Sunday. I think it's against Portland. So we will tap in with you guys there, man. But yeah, just disappointing to say the least. You had any final words, Cardell? All right, y'all. We'll see y'all Sunday afternoon.